Welcome to the Central Basketball Association's weekly update, where talent is discovered. I'm your host, Jeff Mahoney. Heading into the final week of the 2015 season, Chattanooga coach Paul Gaffney, this year's CBA Coach of the Year, said he was most focused on matching wits with the coach of the Fort Wayne Flight, Rod Wilmot, heading into the semifinal round of the postseason playoffs. Coach Wilmot entered Saturday's game with an 11-9 career record in his second season with the team, including a 1-1 career mark in the postseason. Coach Gaffney brings with him the number 1 seeded Rail Runners to take on the host team and number 4 seeded Fort Wayne Flight. And the Flight are down earlier in this one, 5-2, till 2014 league MVP Antonio Cannon drains the three. Then Cannon, working off a screen from Antonio Wilson, hits another. Moments later, Wadner Joseph, causing havoc on the Rail Runners, comes up with the steal. In transition, Cannon can't finish, but James Humphrey's there with a putback slam. Part of an 11-0 run for Fort Wayne. Chattanooga ends the run and starts its own when Dante Hampton finds the pocket and hits the triple. On the other end, Cannon lobs it up to Wilson. But the Rail Runners use a 12-2 run, thanks in part to 6'6", 240-pound Jonathan Adams. The Old Dominion University product scored 7 of his 16 points in the first quarter, as we're tied at 17 heading into the second. Fort Wayne was the number 1 defensive team in the league. Humphrey with the steal up to Reggie Lytle, and the Flight take back the lead 19-17. Fort Wayne outscored Chattanooga 22-14 in the frame, as Lytle's lob from half court finds Humphrey for the jam. Flight up 39-31 at the break. They extend that lead to 16 in the third quarter. Off the pick and roll, Wilson in the lane hits the fadeaway right-handed hook shot, and the score is 57-41 halfway through the frame. But right away, E.J. Ward takes matters into his own hands, hitting the floater in the lane. Then Ward, who led the CBA averaging 8.5 assists per game, lobs it up to Fred Sturdivant for the easy bucket. Ward scored 11 of his team-high 17 points in the third. And after he finds Adams for the 19-foot jumper, Rail Runners take back the lead 59-58. But it didn't take long for the Flight to take off in the fourth. Lance Williams with the steal and in transition finds Cannon for the slam. Next possession, Joseph kicks out to Wilson for the tomahawk jam. Fort Wayne up 74-66. 2 minutes left to play. Hampton to Sturdivant with the flush pulls Chattanooga within 3. But too much Flight down the stretch as Lytle breaks the press and Humphrey throws it down for 2 of his 21 points. Fort Wayne advances to the championship game with the 85-80 win.
Tonight matchup, we had a game plan. We came out here, we did the game plan. Tonight we came out here with a W.
We executed the game plan. We had some mistakes, but we executed the whole game and we battled together. Guys, when we had that little run, we made a couple subs, they made a run, we stayed together. I put my guys back in, we stayed focused, and we got back the lead. Well, that's just maturity because we've been battle tested before. And these guys are just responding, we just keep working and working, and they deserve it. They deserve it. They worked hard all week. They listened to me yelling, but you know, I told them, I'm trying to do it for their best interest, you know, to let them understand how to play the game the right way. We shared the ball, and, you know, we got the win. So I'm very happy for them.
So for the first time in 4 meetings, the Flight come away with a victory against Chattanooga. Fort Wayne out-rebounded the Rail Runners 45-33 behind the Twin Towers' James Humphrey and Antonio Wilson, who each had 13 boards in this game. Fort Wayne's Antonio Cannon hit 8 of 15 shots from the field, finishing with a game-high 24 points in the win. Game 2 this past Saturday featured the winningest coach in CBA history in Middle Tennessee's Nathan Wilhite, who entered the game with 17 career wins under his belt, including a 3-0 mark in the postseason and the 2014 CBA championship, as the Storm met up against Coach Nathan Thompson and the Bowling Green Hornets. Two of the original 4 CBA teams meeting up for a chance to punch their ticket to the 2015 championship game. And nobody wants this game more than Kalen Kimberlin. The 6-foot, 185-pound guard from Lindsey Wilson College drains the baseline jumper. Kimberlin hit a season-high 37 points in the Hornets' regular season finale win over Peoria. He's averaging 19.4 points per game this season and has been his team's leading scorer over the past 2 games. Kimberlin scored Bowling Green's first 14 points of the game as the Hornets take a 16-14 lead after the first quarter. Middle Tennessee goes on a run in the second. Down 22-16, guard LaCorey Daniels drains the 3 on the wing. Next possession, Dominique Rouse finds Miles Thrash for the baseline jumper. Thrash scored 8 of his 11 points in the second, part of a 14-0 run by the Storm. And after Thrash finds Hunter Harris for the easy deuce, Middle Tennessee goes up by 8, 30-22. But Bowling Green finishes off the quarter on a 12-2 run as Demarius Smith goes sky high for the jam. Hornets up 34-32 heading into the break. Much of the same to start the third as big Chris Watson drives from the wing and boom shakalaka. The Storm fight back behind the play of Torrey Pelham, who gets the bucket and would hit his free throw to bring the team within 41-40. But the rest of the game belonged to Bowling Green as Terrence Clemens gets it up to DeAndre Scott for the 2-hand slam. Scott finished the game with 17 points and some monster jams. Speaking of monster jams, Watson was absolutely the king of slam, doing some major rim rocking as the Hornets pull off the 97-78 victory.
It just happens that way. I let the game come to me, just try to help my team out, support my team, and do what I can to help us get the win.
You know, the first half was very slow. It was very unlike us. Offensively, we really struggled. I think both teams did. So maybe part of that's a compliment to both teams' defense. But we really turned it up the second half, started pushing the ball, getting out in space more. We spread the floor a lot better the second half and was able to get in the gaps. We started cutting to the basket and getting some layups and a lot of big energy plays, a lot of big dunks that got us going, the momentum, a lot of good blocks. So I think that was really the big difference in the second half, was us able to get out in an opening and run the floor and space in the half-court setting and attack the basket. And we hit some shots the second half. The first half we really struggled. A lot of layups, but we couldn't hit them.
Bowling Green is back in the championship game for the first time since the CBA's inaugural season in 2013. The Hornets held Middle Tennessee to just 32% shooting from the field. Storm point guard Miles Thrash finished with a season-high 10 turnovers. On to the championship game where Bowling Green coach Nathan Thompson served as the interim head coach for the Hornets in the 2013 championship game. Both he and Coach Rod Wilmot of the Fort Wayne Flight entered the game with 12-9 career records, meaning the winner of this game will be the CBA's second winningest coach with 13 wins. Bowling Green leads the all-time series 2-1 and won earlier this season in Kentucky 91-90. 2 minutes into the first quarter, we're scoreless until Marquise Rudolph gets the steal and finishes at the cup. He would convert the and one as the Hornets go up 3-0. Fort Wayne responds with a 13-2 run as Antonio Cannon finds Reggie Lytle in the corner for 3. The run ends when Cannon finds Antonio Wilson top of the key with the shot clock running down for 3. This is Wilson's only 3 of the season as the Flight go up 13-5. On Bowling Green's next play, Rudolph kicks out to Terrace Clemens for 3, which starts a 12-2 run for the Hornets. Capped by a Kalen Kimberlin 3, Bowling Green up 22-18 after 1. Both teams exchange blows in the second quarter. James Humphrey with a give and go to Antonio Wilson throws it down big time, giving the Flight back the lead 34-32. That lead is short-lived as Kalen Kimberlin drains the triple. Then Demarius Smith gets the ball up to Chris Watson for the reverse slam. Hornets up 42-37 at the break. Bowling Green keeps its foot on the pedal in the third. Clemens rises up to hit the baseline jumper over Wadner Joseph. Clemens scored 11 of his 20 points in the quarter. After Kimberlin finds Rudolph on the block for the bucket and 1, the Hornets enjoy their largest lead of the game at 13. The Flight fight back as Zach Payton finds Humphrey for the jam. On to the fourth quarter, Lance Williams, not wasting any time, finds Big T Wilson for the monster jam. Then with under 3 minutes left to play, it's Wilson with the putback slam, and we're tied at 87. Every time Fort Wayne threatened, Bowling Green's Deontra Scott had the answer. The 6'4", 205-pound guard from Lindsey Wilson College scored 6 straight points for the Hornets. And after Clemens drains the 17-foot jumper, Bowling Green is up 95-93. The Flight tie the game back up at 95 with this strong take by Cannon. But with 5 seconds remaining, Scott with the dribble drive pulls up from 7 feet and banks it in at the buzzer as the Hornets win it 97-95. Bowling Green wins the 3rd ever CBA championship game in a thriller over the host team Flight.
It was a great game, one of the best I've seen, back and forth. You know, we pushed the lead out, I think, to 10 or 12. We feel like if we could get it to 15 or 16, it would be hard for them to get back in it. But they made that run when they got to about 10 and got it down to 5, 6. They even went up late. But we really tried to put an emphasis on spreading the floor. I went to 5 out and attacked the basket. Finally got some cuts and some back doors because they started out shrinking the lane, which was tough on us. Our next adjustment was to 5 out and start cutting and stuff, and then they started switching everything. So then the back doors and the cuts and the screens were open. So it was just a process throughout the game. You know, they would make an adjustment, we'd have to make an adjustment, but a great game. Back and forth, and you got to give Fort Wayne a lot of credit. They played hard and played well.
It's really, I got to get a credit to my teammates and my coaches. They just told me to believe in myself and just go out and do what I do. And like just taking their advice and just trying to put my foot on the gas, just them giving me a chance, I really appreciate it. I got to get a credit to them. They told me to go and I went.
Bowling Green coach Nathan Thompson picks up win number 13 and in the process wins the 2015 CBA championship. Fort Wayne outscored the Hornets 29-21 in the fourth quarter, but once again poor free throw shooting doomed the Flight as they finished just 17 of 28 shooting from the charity stripe. So for the second straight year, the number 1 seeded Chattanooga does not make it to the championship game, with the Flight upsetting the Rail Runners. And Bowling Green, playing with a thin roster all season long, dominates Middle Tennessee and pulls off the stunning win over the Flight after blowing a 10-point fourth quarter lead. Bowling Green's Kalen Kimberlin finished the 2015 postseason averaging 27 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game, helping the Hornets to their first league championship. Kimberlin had the best scoring performance over the weekend with 34 points versus Middle Tennessee. Fort Wayne's James Humphrey scored 29 in the loss to the Hornets. In that game, Kimberlin, along with teammate Deontra Scott, scored 24 points, while the Flight's Antonio Cannon poured in 24 points as well versus Chattanooga. Fort Wayne bigs Antonio Wilson and James Humphrey each racked up 13 rebounds in the win over the Rail Runners. Bowling Green's Caleb Kimberlin had 12 boards in the Hornets' huge win over the Storm. Teammate Marquise Rudolph dished out 9 assists in the win over Fort Wayne. In that game, the Flight's Antonio Cannon had 8 assists. 3 players finished with 6 assists, starting with the league's assist leader in Chattanooga's E.J. Ward. Rudolph, along with Middle Tennessee's LaCorey Daniels, also had 6 assists in the game they played against each other. And that does it for the 2015 season. But be sure to keep up with the Central Basketball Association at PlayCBA.com, as CBA Brazil is set to begin its inaugural season in October of this year, 2015. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the latest videos from the CBA. I'm Jeff Mahoney. Until next season, keep shooting.